Okay, so let's get started. Does this look familiar to you? I expect that there's many of you here that have a similar situation every single morning. Students arriving late, they're stacking up in a line to get into the office, to get a hall pass, to have their late arrival recorded, and all of the madness that happens at that hour trying to get everybody in and off to class. Well, AutoTardy can change that scene for you. Simply put, AutoTardy is the most efficient way to manage your overall tardy process in a timely manner. And it's the reason why so many districts are using it. The plugin is designed to automate all of those time-consuming manual attendance tasks that you and your team are wrestling with every day. The time saved frees up your staff to attend to all the other important responsibilities they need to manage each day. So how are we different than other tardy solutions? Well, AutoTardy is built directly into PowerSchool. That means we are not requiring any external syncs. We can automatically append the clock in and clock out fields on the daily side, also on the meeting side. It's configurable and ready in minutes, tech-friendly, easy to use. We have an attendance activity page that can provide historical attendance data for you. I'm super excited to show that to you today. And we're always adding customer-driven features to simplify your day. Collecting accurate attendance data is critical. This data is the foundation for your targeted interventions, and the quality of that data determines the success of your attendance strategies. AutoTardy ensures accurate data, giving you the necessary confidence to use it as the foundation to build your district's plan to improve attendance. All right, so let's dive in. Let me stop my share here and let me get over to PowerSchool so we can start the demo. Little back and forth to get my page up here. Hang on just a second. Okay, here we go. Okay, awesome. So today I am going to demonstrate how the plugin works in two different schools, each with a different attendance recording method configured in the plugin. So I'm going to start here in Apple Grove High School. In Apple Grove High School, my plugin is configured to record to meeting attendance, to the student's meeting attendance record. The plugin is installed, and it's installed at the district level and available to all the schools in the district that are licensed to use it. AutoTardy creates configuration pages, and it also creates two other pages, one that needs to be open to record attendance and the other that will display the attendance activity that you have accumulated. So let's go start by looking at the AutoTardy record attendance page. The plugin has created this page. It's a page that's displayed in PowerSchool, and it needs to be open and available for you when you're ready to start recording your attendance. So works like this. Your staff would log into PowerSchool in the morning before the students are coming in to have their tardies recorded. They would navigate to the page using the navigation bar, land here in 2 simple clicks, and you're ready to rock and roll. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this particular page. On the top half, and this is where I'm going to focus right now, everything above this blue-gray bar here, I'm going to talk about the items here on the left. A date and a time stamp, that's going to display from wherever you are in the world. I happen to be in Philadelphia on the East Coast, so my date and time will display, Eastern Standard Time. Meeting attendance code. This code is configurable. You are going to determine a default code that is used most often by your staff. That being said, if there is a student that requires a different code for the attendance event, you can use the drop-down and it's going to display your attendance bank that's built in PowerSchool. So create a default, and choose something different if you need to. Hall pass option, it can be turned on or turned off, entirely up to you, and it can be toggled on and off based on the needs of the particular attendance event. Attendance comment. In this box, you can write anything that would pertain to the attendance event that you're handling in the moment. So the attendance event could require some additional details, maybe car trouble or late bus or something along those lines. Type in what you need here, and that information is going to move over into the comment section on the student's record. AutoTardy will not overwrite any comments that are pre-existing. We will add to comments in that space. And then right down here, we have a search student. Here is where we're looking for a student identifier. We have a couple of options for you here. We're looking for the student number. We're looking for the student ID. You can use the lunch ID. Any of those numbers are fine, and they will find the student and record the attendance event. Bottom half of the page. Let's kind of scoot down here for a minute. The bottom half of the page is going to display the attendance activity that has been recorded, overall in the school. So each of the listings for the student activity will display on the bottom half of the page with a link to go to the student's record. I'll show you that in just a minute once we run through a sample of how this works. Okay, so how do we get student information in? Like, what are my options here to be able to enter student ID information? Well, we have a couple of them for you. You can use a barcode scanner to an ID card, and the ID card barcode should be either, like I mentioned, student number, student ID, or lunch ID. So barcode scanner to an ID card. You can manually type a number in. I'm just using my keypad and I manually, oops, I meant to type numbers, not letters. You can manually type a number in, and that number can be used again to be entered from the keyboard. You could use a pin pad, think cafeteria style. Some people use pin pads in the cafeteria. And you could use a pin pad attached to the laptop where you're actually doing the attendance recording, and students could type their number in. Another option, I'm a fan favorite here, finger scanner. Why am I a fan favorite? Because kids come to school with these every single day. Finger scanner can be used to, add an additional layer of efficiency when you're using our AutoTardy plugin. The final option would be a student search. Type in the first few letters of a student's last name, find them, and send your student data in that way, your student ID in that way. So lots of different ways for you to go ahead and enter your student or search on your student. So to begin with, I'm going to use a finger scan. So to show you how that works, here's my little finger scanner box, and I'm going to send the first student in to show you how everything works. Pay really close attention, because when I place my finger, all the goodness is going to happen in under 4 seconds. So kind of keep your eye on that screen here. I'm going to place my finger. My student information has been sent in, and just so you know, everything is done. All the recording is complete. My timestamp has been added, my attendance code has been applied, my comment has been assigned if there is one that I have put in. It's all done. Let's take a pause for a minute. I want to show you what happened here on the hall pass. Hall pass can get generated. Automated hall pass. I'm going to bring this in, really make it a little bit bigger for everybody to see. My hall pass, and again, I'm pausing here. It's not automatically going through because I have not, selected print yet. But my hall pass is going to show you a date and a timestamp. It's going to show you the student's name. It's going to show you the class on the bell schedule that Jamie has at the time that she came into the building. Physics is where she should be. It's going to display the attendance code. It's also going to show you the status here, which in PowerSchool, this particular code is defined as an unexcused. I'm also going to show you a tardy count. It tells me at this moment in time that Jamie has come in late to the building. She has a total of 7 unexcused tardies and also a total of 7 overall tardies, a combined potentially unexcused and excused total. And then we have a nice message here. We give you the capability in the AutoTardy plugin to define and create a message that aligns with the tardy threshold that the student has reached. So you can create the tone and the messages that you want to send to your students. Mine just happens to say education is the passport to the future. Yours could say something different. Again, these are configurable. And I'm going to send that off to the printer, and the student can head off to class just like that. I'm going to show you another way that we can do this. I'm not going to stop it at the hall pass. I just want to give you an idea of the flow here. If I send a student in, I'm just going to search on them this time, a different recording method. A hall pass is going to be generated, hall pass gets printed, and away they go. So we're under 4 seconds here. You're really keeping those students coming in, getting the attendance where it needs to be, and sending them off to class in a timely manner. So it brings that whole pace of the front office, you know, all the way down because it's easily and quickly handled. Okay, let me show you here. Let's take a look at a student record. I'm going to show you Jamie Anderson, the first one that I had demonstrated. I want to bring you back and show you how everything was recorded. Jamie came in, and it was physics on her bell schedule at the time she entered the building. You can see that her attendance code from the page, as I had that defined, was then written to her meeting record. We also will insert in the comment. You have the option to display the timestamp. Super useful information. So the timestamp will be added to the comment if it's desired. In addition, if you are a school or a district or a state that requires the clock in and the clock out field to be appended, we will automatically write to the meeting time entry, the clock in field for a tardy student, so that PowerSchool can collect the data that's inserted to their table and update the total instructional minutes. Just want to make a mention here again. We are a plugin that's gets built in and becomes part of core PowerSchool, and we're writing to core PowerSchool tables. So everything that we're doing, we're sending it in and writing to those core tables. And in this example here, we're writing to the meeting time entry tables, and therefore PowerSchool does the calculation on the back end. We're just giving them the information that is necessary. Okay, so this is where I do like, ta-da! This is, our awesome plugin. It's designed to take away all of those manual processes that the front office is doing and allow you to automate it and get those students in and out of the building, in and out of the office quickly. Couple things. I'm going to go back here. Let's kind of take a quick tour again of how I got to that record attendance page. Just 2 clicks. And I'm going to land on this page. Again, this is where all of the attendance recording happens. I want to show you something else over here, though. This attendance activity. Attendance activity is a cumulative view of the data that you have collected. So basic filter, if you'd like to use that, aligns with core PowerSchool behavior, and you can do your searches in that manner. However, you'll probably want to take advantage of our other options here so that you can go ahead and get real granular about the information that you're trying to collect. For example, you could take a look at a particular date and you can do a multi-filter select. I want to see on the 21st, for example, how many tardy unexcused I had. So I can apply my filters and I can get eyes on that data. Really let you start to connect some dots, right? And draw some conclusions and create some plans and get some ideas when you can get real granular with the information that you're parsing through. Another popular way that people like to use this page is they want to know, for example, everyone that has a total of 5 tardy unexcused. Again, take a look at your information, start to see what type of patterns that you might be able to draw from the attendance data that you've collected. So this is the attendance activity page, also part of the plugin, but it's where you'd go to look at your data, not record your data. Here's where we're recording our data right over here on the record attendance page. All right, so that's how it works. I guess there's going to be a question about, so how do we set this up? It's equally as simple, to be quite honest. I'm going to take us first over to the district office because we do allow you to make some global decisions, right? Maybe at the district level, you want to assign these configurations so that your school level folks don't have to get involved. You have the option to do that. District management, attendance, and I'm going to go into my AutoTardy district settings. I'm gonna give you an overview of this page. I'm not gonna bore you with the details because if you want to have a real like one-on-one here with me at any point, we can schedule something later. But let's just talk about this from a general perspective. You can, in the AutoTardy district settings, you can go ahead and open that option up for the schools to set themselves, and we'll visit the school page in a minute. Or you can say, no, at the district level, I'm going to define everything for you, which you certainly could do. So again, district level settings, you can assign them to everybody and lift the load from the schools, or you can let the schools do things on their own. You could also mix and match it. You know, you could set some settings that schools might want to take advantage of, allow schools to set their own settings, and allow them to choose things that are different than the ones that the district has defined. Okay, so district settings, that's available for you, especially our larger districts, right? You want to make things real efficient and streamlined. All right, let's go back to Apple Grove High School, which is the school where I was just demonstrating. And let's go into our configuration page on Apple Grove High School. So school management, attendance, cleverly, AutoTardy school settings. So here we are on this page. It's going to look identical to the district office page. So let's just go through these. And we'll do a quick tour of each of these options. Here in these top two settings, you can determine whether or not you want to configure your plugin to record meeting attendance or to record daily attendance. You do need to choose a lane. If you have interaction between your meeting and your daily attendance, the only way that is going to be plausible is based on the way that your bridge period is set up. So from the plugin's perspective, we're going to handle your meeting attendance or we're going to handle your daily attendance. This is where you choose that lane. In Apple Grove High School, we were set for meeting. Tardy count term length, this is where you can decide how long you want to count your tardies before a reset happens. And it's going to pull from the way your terms are configured in PowerSchool. In Apple Grove High School, I'm collecting them for the whole year. However, I'd have the option to reset automatically after my, based on, a half year, which would be my semester 1 versus semester 2. So maybe in semester 2, you want to give kids a fresh start. You would go ahead and configure yours differently. On the main settings page, notice here we have a district setting column. If I want to use something different than what the district has defined, I have the ability to do so. So you're going to decide what your default attendance code is. If you want to return to that default after the scan, if you want a hall pass printed, what your student identifier is going to be, student number, student ID, lunch ID. Again, this is where you're going to make these decisions. Do you want to see the scan time and the attendance comment? Are you required or do you want to use the clock in and clock out functionality? And how many records do you want to see displayed on that scan page? Here's where you're going to make the decision about how you want that to be displayed and work in your environment. The next section we have are your hall pass settings. So all kinds of great ways to configure that hall pass. You want to decide if you want the comment on the hall pass, the class on the hall pass, the code, the count, all of these options that are going to determine how you want that hall pass to be displaying for your students when they're on their way to class. Then we have our preset tardy comment. So as I was showing you on our hall pass, you have the ability to display a message that aligns with the tardy threshold that your student has reached at that moment. So there are 3 different types that you could use: a tardy, excused, or an unexcused. And if you're separating the way that you handle your tardies, you can have independent messages for each of your statuses, right? Each of your tardy types. I'll just open one up here, the unexcused tardy, to give you an idea. Tardy count on the left-hand side, and over here on the right-hand side is where you would fill in your comments that align with the tardy threshold that's been reached. There's a maximum of 50 comments that you can fill in. We have a nice autofill option here for you, so you don't have to keep typing. The same thing over and over. There was one other thing and you can minimize that. Let's just say you don't want to use all 50. Maybe you're a school and you know that you're only going to want to use, something smaller like 32 comments. Go ahead and, modify that. So, you don't have to input all of those additional comments that you might not be using. So preset tardy comments right here. This is a brand new addition to the plugin, and I'm super excited about it because the usefulness of these particular schedule exception settings is phenomenal. Many of you, I'm sure, might have some type of variation on a standard schedule. Maybe you have some overlapping periods. Maybe you have some periods with multiple sections. Maybe you have a combination of overlapping periods and periods with multiple sections. So in this area, you can determine, and I won't go through each one of them, but it's just going to give you an idea here. You can go ahead and determine the behavior of the attendance code, where that's going to be written based on the way that your schedule is set up and where that attendance code needs to land. So we can handle overlapping periods, periods with multiple sections, and scanning outside of a period, okay? Something that's not built on the bell schedule. And we can help you place that attendance code where it needs to be. So I'm super excited about it. Brand new addition. Very, very excited about it. Last thing I'm going to show you on the setup here are the attendance codes. So this is the last stop here in getting your plugin set up, and you can go into a particular code. You'll notice that we have our own defined section here, and you are going to set your code up based on the behavior you want that code to display when used with the plugin. And voila, you're done. All set up. I'm going to say the whole process can take under 30 minutes, and you're up and running, and you can start using the plugin right away. All right, Brian, I am keeping an eye on the time here. It's 12:23. So how am I doing?
You're doing pretty good. I think you wanted to talk a little bit about the daily record.
Yes, that's where I'm going. So let's go over here to I'm going to change out of Apple Grove High School, and this one's a little shorter because it's going to look and feel exactly the same way as Apple Grove High School. It's just about where we are actually sending that attendance record. So here I am in Washington Elementary. As I mentioned, on this particular for this particular school, I've configured my plugin to write to the student's daily record. So same process to get to that page that needs to be open to record attendance, AutoTardy record attendance. And here I am. As I said, looks and feels exactly the same, very, very similar display. And let's take you through it. So I'm going to come down here into my search student. I'm going to use my finger again here just to kind of give you an idea of how that works. My student ID number was entered. My hall pass is displayed. Let me show you. This one's set up a little differently. I just wanted to show you what it looked like with and without a logo that was added to that hall pass. But we have similar information. Let me get that a little bigger. Even a little bigger. Okay, I have a date and a timestamp. Again, Philadelphia. It's going to pull from where I am in the world. My student's name, code that was selected for this attendance event. This is a daily event, so I'm not going to be displaying the class on Anthony's Bell schedule because we're not pulling that information on the daily side of things. But everything else is the same. I can show the count. And then I have my message. So again, a configurable message that aligns with the tardy threshold that's been reached. And I can, let's see, let me just do another one real quick just to show you the speed. I really like to see that speed. Let me see, I don't think I've used this one. Student is going to go in, hall pass comes up, prints out, and they're on their way. Real quick, I'll show you here because I want to leave enough plenty of time to go into some Q&A here. Let's open the student's attendance record. And notice here, it's Thursday. I have an attendance code that's been written, which was the one that was selected from the event. And for this particular attendance code, I am using the clock in and clock out feature. The logic, let me explain it to you. The time in, 12:25, will be inserted to the clock in field. 9 p.m., my bell schedule is really, really late, so my last class is at 9 p.m. The end of the day for the bell schedule will automatically be assigned to the student's record. So that's the logic on the tardy code. Early dismissals, you can use this for early dismissals as well. It's going to be the same exact procedure. You'll just see an early dismissal code, and then the reverse of the timestamp information. The clock in will be the start of the day for the bell schedule, and the clock out will be actually the time that the student left the building. So this is not just limited to tardies, even though it's called AutoTardy Plugin. You have other use cases for it. So that's the tardy. That's the daily side of things, and all of the configuration settings look exactly the same as the high school on the meeting side that I have already shown you. It's just some of the options that you would select would be a little bit different. Okay, so I want to show you one other thing. Hang on just a second here. If you can bear with me while I go back to my slide deck. I want to share something with you here before we open the room up for some Q&A. I wanted to share something
Reading,
really.
if anyone has any questions, please put them in the question answer or the chat.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian, for the reminder. I want to share something super, super exciting with everybody coming very, very soon. Kiosk mode. These are self-serve kiosks. So AutoTardy Plugin is actually going to be including some really awesome features that allow AutoTardy to be used in a self-serve style, right? Kiosk style. So not requiring front office staff to be involved, but self-serve kiosks that can record attendance. They can help you with your security checkpoints. So AutoTardy will allow you to set certain flags to deny entry for students, maybe based on a particular code that would be assigned to the student, or maybe they're not enrolled in school on that particular day or at all. So security checkpoints to help manage entry to the building, track student check-ins to locations without impacting attendance. Think of some of those rotating classes and maybe resource centers and rooms where you don't want attendance recorded, but you want to know where your kids are. We're coming out with that real soon. And the other exciting piece is managing entry to events, basketball games, football games, school dances. Use AutoTardy to help you manage students coming into an event based on whether they're allowed to be there or not. So we have all kinds of great stuff coming soon as well. All right, I'm going to pause here and let's do some questions.
Cool. Those are some really cool features. Thanks for showing those.
Yes.
Really looking forward to seeing those live. Do you have a general idea on when those might be available? Is it like 6 months or a year or?
I do have a very general idea. Actually, we are weeks out. Just look, I'm going to be quite frank with everybody here, and I'm going to let you know we are in a beta 1 release right now. So we're using it. It's out in the world. We are getting some feedback. We're just applying some finishing touches to it before it's ready for prime time. So I'm going to say sometime before by mid-November, we should be ready to go.
Super exciting. Thank you.
This is me. I'm raising the roof for that one. Super excited too.
We get some questions coming in, particularly around the hall pass. Is that an extra feature to have a hall pass printed? Or is that standard built into the plugin? That's what we get when we pay for the plugin.
Yeah, that's what you get when you pay for the plugin. So we are going to present a print dialog if you want to use it, right? If you want to see that, you can keep it enabled. If you don't want a hall pass, then you can turn it off. But, it's going to present the dialog, and then you can either choose to set your browser to auto print that hall pass, or you can have someone actually, submit that to send it off to the printer. So yes, it's an option that's part of the plugin.
That brings me right into the next thing. Before that, so you would need to have a printer, use your own printer, right?
You can listen. We don't have, because Yeah, the print dialog is really a piece of a browser functionality, right? When you get down to it, we're just saying, hey, we have a print job that we are allowing you to send off to whatever printer that you want. So we don't have any rules about the printer that you use. Honestly, most districts are using like a thermal printer. It makes the most sense. They're cost effective. You're using a smaller amount of paper. But there are some schools that don't want to go to the expense to buy something different, and they actually just use their regular office printer. And even though it's a large piece of paper, it prints just fine in that direction as well. So wherever you want to send that hall pass, that's just fine on our side.
Any printer on your network?
Yes. Yeah. Be any printer on your network. That's exactly right. You would just determine it. You would get your printer settings defined, right? And whatever your default printer is, it's going to go that way.
Next question is, what is the price of the plugin with all those great
So
features that come built into the pricing?
yeah, I think it's an awesome price. It is $1,800 a year if your school or district has under 1,000 students, or it's $1.80 a student if you're greater than 1,000. And that's a subscription. It's a yearly subscription.
Awesome. Next question here is, can the attendance code automatically change based on the built-in period times, or is that something we have to change on our end?
You would have to change it on your end. Yeah. Now, remember, you have two ways that you can do that, right? So you can either navigate back to the configuration page and update that, or you can change it on the fly. Something else I'll share with you, also part of the kiosk mode that will be released, sometime in mid-November. You will be able to define settings based on the kiosk user that is set up. So kind of let that soak in for just a minute or sink in for just a minute. That means that if you have different stations running within a school, you can define different codes for those stations. So potentially that might give you something to think about based on the question that you asked.
Okay. Can you talk again a little bit about the different entry methods for identifying students?
I certainly can. So student number is one option. Is that what you mean? Like what
Yes.
ID options? Okay, so student number is one. If that is the identifier that you're using for your students, student number as defined in PowerSchool, student ID is also another option that you can use as the student identifying number, or the lunch ID. Lunch ID is a really great idea. Of course, coming from customers saying that, hey, it's a smaller number. Our students seem to remember it. Can you build that into the plugin? And we said, of course. So here it is for you. Lunch ID is another option. Remember the smart search too, right? So you can also do that. Couple letters of the first, couple first letters of the last name, and then you'll get your display of students that match, and you can do a selection that way.
Awesome. Are the tardy actions configurable?
Yes. All your tardy actions are configurable, and they're also configurable based on tardy type. So you can segment your tardies into excused versus unexcused if that's how your school handles your tardy categories or tardy types. Alternatively, if you put everything in a collection of one, or everything is counted as the same, you can just use the standard tardy. So we give you lots of options to handle that based on the way that you're running your school's attendance.
Thank you.
Well,
Are there other ways to use the auto tardy solution, like for field trips or early dismissals, that kind of thing?
absolutely. So, just because it's called AutoTardy, and just because that's its main functionality to help you get those students in and out of the office, using it for early dismissals will work just the same. Using it for field trips, you can also use it that way. It's a great way to get a lot of students in with the attendance easily recorded and then moving on to where they need to be. So absolutely, field trips, early dismissals, as well as our standard tardies.
Uh, Next question is, ready to move forward, but need to show this to some other stakeholders in our district. Can we test
Yeah,
this?
certainly can. So we have what's called a free trial, right? Try it before you buy it. Make sure that it's a tool that you feel is going to be successful for your school. So we have it's a pretty easy process. We engage with you we send over a little form. You kind of fill out, who are the people that are going to be part of this free trial. It's a timeline, a couple of 2 weeks there that you can use this, and get a feel for it in your environment. And then you determine whether or not you want to move forward. If you want to move forward, awesome. If you don't want to move forward, that's fine too. There's no commitment. So I think a free trial is a wonderful way to determine if this tool is going to fit the needs of your school.
Having a free trial is awesome. Love that idea.
I think, yeah, I do too. I'm a big fan.
Looks like that's all the questions that we have for today. Just a reminder to everyone that we'll be sending a recording out.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going to take this back for just a minute, Brian, before we go. I just wanted to share with you some information about another plugin that we have. It's called AutoAttendance. And our AutoAttendance plugin is equally as fantastic as our AutoTardy plugin, but it handles two different types of scenarios. One is attendance in the classroom, and one is attendance for arrival. So the classroom attendance solution, students, scan when they're entering the class, lifting the responsibility off of the teacher, right? Gives you loads of time to be able to get to the teaching and the instructional time without the teachers having to manage all of the manual tasks that are associated with recording attendance. And then arrival, that's when students are coming into the building. It gives visibility. You want to know who's there, who has come in the morning, who's here, who hasn't checked in. The arrival edition of AutoAttendance, also a great addition to your school's attendance program. So if you want to learn more about those, we'd love for you to reach out. So what's next? If you're interested in learning more, if you're ready for a quote, please reach out, get a quote, schedule a demo. We'd love to hear from you. Like Brian mentioned, you are going to send out a follow-up email. And so it's going to have some great information in the follow-up about how to get all the things that you're looking for.
We have a last minute question coming in about
Yeah.
auto attendance. Does that have a free trial?
No, it does not. No. The reason it doesn't is because the configuration is a little bit longer, and the implementation is a bit longer than the AutoTardy. So the answer is no, but certainly can give you a demo and take you on a tour of what that would look like for your school.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. So thanks, everybody. It's been a pleasure spending the afternoon with you. We hope to hear from everybody and would love to partner with you on making your attendance a lot more efficient in your school or district.
Thanks. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.